Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Rupom from Bangladesh Excel Meetup Group again, and we have something exciting coming up in a bit, and it would be an Excel session, primarily concentrating on filters. And guess what? We have an amazing guest today who will be speaking on filter, and I think he doesn't need any introduction. He is Purna, and Purna is predominantly, I guess, known as Chandoo. And if I share my experience with Chandoo, Chandoo is the first teacher for me. When I started my university in 2006, I was trying to learn Excel, and when I Googled it, the first website that I found was chandu.org. And I'm really grateful for all these years. I have learned many things from Chandu, and I never miss the YouTube webinars conducted by Purna. So it's really a pleasure having you with us today. I hope you are doing great.
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
Great, great. Chandu, normally what I do is, Chandu is your nickname as far as I
Yeah.
know.
Mm.
And if I call you Chandu, is it okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So what we do normally, we introduce the speaker, and then we mention about what is coming up in Bangladesh Excel Meetup Group next, and then we talk a bit about Bangladesh Excel Meetup Group. Then I will share some links of our social media groups and how can the participant download the resources and their certificates. They're getting certificates of this webinar, and after that, I will hand over to you.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds
I hope
great.
this is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Um, Let me share my screen now. Yeah, so I already talked about today's webinar, uh, and it's on filter, and we have Purna doing this for us. And we have another amazing session coming up in this September, and this would be from 9 to 10 p.m. And that would be conducted by another excellent person named Bill Jelen, who is prominently known as Mr. Excel. So it would be a pivot table deep dive this time, and the registration uh, can be done in the link I will be providing shortly, right? Yep. So this is uh, chandu.org website, and you can see there are amazing resources. So I really expect you to visit this website and get the maximum resources out of it. And he has also a good YouTube channel which has over 700,000 subscriber, I guess. So please look into the YouTube channel. You will find amazing resources on Excel and Power BI also. So yeah, if I talk about Bangladesh Excel Meetup Group, Bangladesh Excel Meetup Group, as you may know already, that we conduct social media live classes and workshops in different universities and in different uh, uh, organizations where people are not enlightened with the learning of Excel. So we try to reach there and train people. We have a good pool of resources. There are 8 other people who are MCTs or Microsoft certified trainers in our group, and we'll regularly conduct these sessions physically and in online, so that we can grow the Excel community in Bangladesh, and we also try to reach out to different parts of the world through this platform. So thank you for being with us, and hopefully, inshallah, we will be providing many useful sessions in the future. So if you want to connect with us, you can scan these QR codes. I will share the links also in the chat box today, so that you can get in the link and become our member and part of the family. Yeah, and I really want you to rate today's webinar, what you like about this and what you want us to improve on. So your feedback will definitely help us create contents. Those are for you, right? And this is very important that you can download your certificates and today's presentation, and also the resource file that will be shared by Chandoo during the session. You can scan the QR code and download it, and I will share the link also in the chat box. So thank you very much. I will be handing over to Chandu now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can go on.
Okay.
I will stop sharing.
All right. That is so nice of you, Rupam. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And it's my pleasure and honor to speak at the Bangladesh Excel Meetup group. I was invited to do a session a few years ago, but the timings couldn't work, and we couldn't really sort out the schedules. But the next time he approached, I was like, yes, I will definitely do it. So I'm so glad we are doing this. And today I want to talk about one of my absolute new features of Excel these days. It is the filter function. It is one of the coolest little additions to Excel, I believe, and it opens new doors once you understand how to use it. I'm sure some of you are familiar with the filter function, others may not. I just want to get a feel of the room so that we can kind of kick it up a notch if needed. So either use the comments or the reactions and tell me if you have used the filter function already in Excel. So
There are lots of reactions, I guess.
one second, I am trying to. So a lot of people have already used it, and obviously I wouldn't expect anything less from an Excel focused group. If I'm presenting this on my YouTube channel or in a place where people are not really part of that kind of a meetup community where they take some time in the weekend to attend the sessions, then I can be like, okay, maybe some of these people may not know about filter, but with the meetup groups, obviously I see that the people are more passionate about Excel and work and all of that. So naturally, you have heard about it. So what I'll do is I'll do a very quick intro just in case you haven't used it in a while or something, and then I want to cover 5 scenarios that are shown on the screen. But if time permits, or if we come to a place where we run through all these 5s without any questions before the time ends, then we will open for some questions. I want to hear from you how you are using filter, and if you have got any questions or any fun little tricks or concepts that you are doing with these, so that you can share or you can talk about it, and we can all kind of learn from each other. So filter is obviously, as you may know, is one of the newer functions to be added to Excel. It is available with Excel 365, Excel on the web, But if you are using an older version of Excel like 2016, 19, you won't find filter there. But again, given that you have all used filter, I assume you're using 365 already. So here I have got some data. Again, what filter does is it basically filters the data. So I've got this data. This data is set up into a table named staff. It's a staff data. I I sent this file to Rupom, so I hope people have access to this. Let me know if you don't. I'll try to figure out another way to send this file as well. But I believe you have access to this file at this point.
Yeah,
So
I will share the link also, as I
mm,
mentioned,
yeah,
so that they
I,
can
I
download
will
it from.
I will put a link in the chat right now, just in case anybody want to practice while I'm showing or whatever. But this file just has the blank data. I think Rupam will also send you more resources anyway. So what that is, it's just the data that I'm showing you here is the staff data, but you don't really need this data. It can work with any of your data. I put this data specifically because then we can kind of see the versatility of this. So let's say I'm looking at this. This is employee data. You're familiar with this because you may come across something like this in your line of work or whatever. But let's just say I'm looking at this and I want to know who are all the employees that are remote. You can see that I have work location column here. They work across the world. Some people in Wellington, some people in Auckland, some people in USA, some in India, some people are remote. And I just want to see all the remote employees. One way is I can apply the filters, the physical filters on the table. I can then filter this to remote. And then I can see that we have got 69 people working remote. And then further, I can filter this down to, let's just say, in the engineering department, these are the people. So this is one way of filtering. You're filtering the data in place. But what Microsoft filter function does, the 365 function does is it gives you a function way of filtering the data. That means I can go somewhere else. I can go to another sheet. And in this sheet, I can say, hey, can you filter my staff table? And what I want is I want to look at staff location. Sorry, I think that's called work location is equal to remote. So essentially, whatever the filter criteria that we have written there, that's what we are writing here. And when you hit enter, you will get the same 69 people listed here. The beautiful thing with this is because it's not changing the data there, it's actually giving you a copy of that data, but it is all controlled through the formulas. I can use this to, for example, build my dashboards or reports or anything else like that. Like if I want to analyze this data and make a chart from it, but keep everything parameterized or dynamic, I can use that. I can, of course, 69 is a lot of people, but if I if I want, I could technically, I can select all of these salaries and I can kind of make a chart from it. And this is basically a dynamic chart because it's coming from the filter function. Technically, this thing is not dynamic yet, but you get the picture. This is the advantage of using a formula versus filtering the data. Filtering the data is manual, whereas the formula gives you a little bit more flexibility of what you want to do and how you want to do it. So that is the filter function at its base. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of give some special scenarios. But before we go there, I'll just add one more criteria. Remember, we have 69 and we just narrowed that down to the engineering department. So a immediate question is, how do I write two conditions? This is just one condition. How do I do two? It's really simple. We use brackets for each condition and then multiply the second condition using star. And then we say staff of department is engineering. Close brackets, and we will get all the remote engineering employees here, those 5 or 6 people. And this will be a spilled formula. The formula is in this cell B3, but it is a spill range. So for example, if I did that and further somewhere else, let's just say in a separate sheet, or we'll stick to this sheet. Somewhere here, I want to see how many such people are there. How many people? We can go to count A of, well, technically, okay, okay, we'll just do it like this. B3, and because it is a spill formula, we don't know how far down it goes. We simply select B3 hash, and that's gonna select that entire range. Right now, this is gonna tell you 66 because it's counting all the columns. But we could then kind of take that and pass it to something else that just picks the very first column, something like choose calls of B3 hash, comma 1. So that means select the very first column and then tell me how many items you're finding there, and that will tell you 6. But all of this is dynamic. So for example, if the data changes and if someone else, like for example, let's pick somebody in the engineering department. So this guy here, he's engineering. Right now he's in Columbus, USA, but he decides to go remote. So we change this to remote. Then this list becomes 7 and that also becomes 7. So this is the advantage of using formulas. It all stays in sync. If the data changes and any reports or any charts or any analysis that you're building on top will all be in line automatically. And the core thing that is powering all of that is the dynamic behavior, as well as in this case the filter function. So the key ideas that I want to remind and plant in your head: number one, how to use the filter function. Second thing is, how do you add multiple conditions? You basically write conditions and then you multiply them with star, and you keep doing that and you'll do. You may also want to, for example, instead of seeing all the columns, maybe just see the IDs alone. In this case, what we do is we change the initial thing and we say, I want only the employee ID column. That means I want to filter the employee IDs alone based on this criteria. And that would just give you the IDs, right? You can, because these are tables, you can say I want employee ID column to salary column, and that will be just that, like a cut of data. And you can go a little bit more crazy with these things and then say I want columns 2, 7, and 4 from this table, and they should be in the order of 4 to 7. And you can work it out using some of the other additional functions, but the filter is what is doing this magic. I'll put some of these formulas in the chat so you have a reference as well, especially those of you who have never used filter or kind of haven't done much of that in the recent past. Now I hope so far it is clear. Like I said, this is just to introduce the filter. Now comes the fun part. Let's just take it and then kind of ask some questions and get the answers which are more realistic. Nobody is asking, give me a list of all the remote engineering employees. I mean, some people might ask, but writing a filter is not the first thing that we do, because it's such an ad hoc request that it would take same amount of time or even less amount of time if you manually filter and copy paste the values into email or Teams message and send them. So filters real power comes when we start thinking about actual problem and how filter can be part of that solution. So here I have put 5 problems. These are not necessarily complex, but also not necessarily easy. So let me just read them out and we'll go one at a time in the next 30 minutes. So for example, I may want to see the top 10 people by salary. This is one kind of a filter. It's technically not necessary to use filter for this thing, but we will just go with that for now. So top 10 people by salary, all part-time employees. Now for something like that, the data is not there, so we'll have to figure out the data and then solve it. Or Indian people who work in India who started in the year 2021, or all the remote support teams, names, comma separated, or name contains something and then arranged by salary. So we'll do this in sheet 2. This is the first one. Here our goal is to see the top 10 people by salary. So even though I say filter, I want to actually give you a little bit more on various important newer things they have added in conjunction with filter. So just as we have filter, we also have a sort function. What it does is it sorts the data. So if I look at the data, I've got the salary column and I just want to know who are the top 10. One way of solving this problem is we first sort this table on the salary and we then see the highest salary up top, and from there we just take the 10 rows. So that's one way of doing. This is where the sort function comes, because we need to first arrange the people by their salary. So we can say sort the staff table. And what sort wants is, it wants to know on which column you want to sort, and that should be the number. So if I go back to my data, these columns are, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So salary is the 6th column. So we want to sort on the 6th index or 6th column, and then we want to sort it in descending order. So we say sort staff 6th column -1. -1 stands for descending, 1 stands for ascending. So that would basically put all the higher salaries up front. So highest is 120,000 in our data, and further down you can see that it is going down. All the way down here is 28,160 is the lowest salary. So now that we have sorted, essentially what we are asking for is, can I get just the first 10 records out of this? So this is in a way filtering, but you don't have to use filter for this per se, but we are going to use filter first, but then we will also come up with a non-filter solution for this. So imagine this is the sorted array, sorted list. And now what I want is, I want to filter, but I want to filter based on a fictional row number. Now imagine there is a, I'm gonna for now print yellow color here. Imagine there is a row number attached to them, right? So we have this data. What we want is, we want to filter that by that row number where the row number is less than 10. So that's one way of kind of asking this question. So if it is less than or equal to 10, get the data. That means I want this data, but I'm filtering on that number. That number doesn't exist, by the way. It is not there to see, but we are just imagining that kind of a thing exists. So we could construct all of that using some sort of a formula like that. Right now there is 260 employees in our data. So what we will do is, we sort this, and then we want to filter the sorted data. So filter this sorted data based on a number that goes from 1 to how many ever employees I have, but that number should be less than or equal to 10. This is like just roundabout way of saying, take this and then get me the first 10 rows. So this could be like, we could use a function called sequence that would generate the numbers. So if I can type these numbers, I can also say sequence of 260, and I'll get the numbers there, right? You see, we have 260 employees, so that's how many will come. But what if we have 300 employees? I don't know how many employees we are going to have. So we may want to actually count that. So sequence of count A of staff table employee ID column. That's going to tell me how many employees IDs are there, and that much is the sequence. That will also be 260, but now that is a dynamic formula that is attached to the table. So if the table tomorrow has 300 rows, this will be 300. So we could use that concept here. We can say filter, sort my data, and then make a sequence which is as big as count A of staff table employee ID, and that sequence should be less than or equal to 10. That means just get the first 10 rows, and that would be these 10 employees. You can see that now the entire thing is gone and it's replaced with this kind of a thing. So we'll put this, we'll call this as a filter based solution. Because the session is called filter, I feel obligated to actually show you the filter based solution here. But I wouldn't personally use this, because this is a very cumbersome way. It introduces an extra sequence and unnecessarily adds complexity here. So I would love to do something that is not based on the sequence kind of a thing, but I want to pass the hat here to the room and then see if someone comes up with a better one, like put a comment, or I don't know. Yeah, this is a meetup, so
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Purna. What do you use instead of this formula then?
So what is the formula?
What you use instead of this formula? You you just shared that you don't like to use this filter formula as well.
Yeah.
So what is the alternative for this formula, particular formula?
I am asking you. You tell me. What would you like to use? It's like a quiz.
I don't like to. Yes, I don't like to use this complicated filter formula as well, because I don't want to use this is be a very complex. I have to
Yeah. So
some
somebody said,
conditions as well. So
Zakir
I
said,
don't. I
take and
used
sort.
to.
Yeah. So this is the reason.
I can use choose column as well. Choose column, and it will be nested so far, because we have to put in so much logic over there.
Yeah. Yeah. My preference is in this case, because we are only going to have 10, I'm going to write the formula underneath here. This is what I call as a non-filter solution. We are not even going to filter anything. This is where we sort the staff table on the 6th column, descending order. But after sorting, we are just going to take just the first 10 rows. So what that does is it gives the same result, but it completely avoids filter, because there's no filtering option, filtering happening here. We had to use the filter because then we can introduce this arbitrary column on the sequence and then filter based on that. But none of that is necessary if we use take and sort. You could also use choose rows, which is the alternative of choose columns, because we are selecting rows, and then say sort staff 6 minus 1. But this would expect all the row numbers. So here I can say sequence of 10. So that means it will make the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on to 10, and then it will select those 10 rows. So you have to specify the row numbers for choose rows. So that's where the sequence would come in. The key thing you want to remember, and this is one of the most beautiful things with Excel, in my opinion, is there is more than one road to go from point A to point B. So there is no bonus points for taking one road versus another. You're not getting anything. But because it gives you multiple roads, you feel like you have a choice. And whenever you have choice, you have more fun. That's basically how life works. So remember, as a kid, if you have only one toy, you are miserable. But once you have choice, you are like, this is fun. So same fun happens with Excel. Because there are choices, I feel like it gives me freedom to think creatively and solve problems based on the situation, maybe sometimes even my mood and how I feel. But yeah, there are options here. There's maybe even more ways of doing this. Feel free to work on it. But yeah, that's number one, top 10. Even though we started off with filter, technically we could get there without using filter. Now let's go to the next one, which is one of the cool things with these functions, all part-time employees. Now, if you look at the data, nowhere in the data we know whether they're working part-time or full-time. That information is not there. It's just that there is an FTE column which tells me if somebody is working full. One means they're full-time employee. Anything less than one is a part-time employee. But we don't have part-time, full-time as a column. We just have the FTE number. Based on the FTE, we could then work out whether someone is part-time or full-time. So what you could then do is, this is the second one. The thing that we are trying to do is this. All part-time employees. In here, we want to filter staff FTE is less than 1. So this is one way of kind of saying the part-time, but you're not always writing conditions that are like equal to or that. It can be any kind of an arithmetic operation. So here the arithmetic operation is less than, but we will add on to this later in other ways. So even if the value is not there, technically we can get there by manipulating something else and then working our way towards that. That's the point that I want to introduce here by doing that. Now let's add a twist here. Let's say I want to see this, but I want to kind of make it for a upcoming meeting. I want to present, I have to give this data for an employee. You imagine you are working in an organization, you are responsible for all the HR data analysis and reporting, and you have this, for the sake of this argument, imagine you have an annoying colleague, and all they do is every day they email you with a silly request like, send me all the part-time employees. Tomorrow they'll send one more request, then to me like, send me all the marketing department people or something. They keep sending you this. And after doing this for 4 days, you are frustrated. You are like, okay, I'm every day sitting and writing this. I might as well just set up a template. So as soon as I get the request, I change this and I send it out. So for the sake of simplicity, in this case, the annoying aspect is they always ask part-time employees, but the number of columns, the columns they want change. So today they ask all the data. Tomorrow they might say, I want ID, first name, last name, and department alone. One more day later, they might say, I want ID, this, salary, and location of the employee. So columns are changing. It's just always part-time employees, but you can kind of go from there. So we want to create some sort of a report builder where we say what columns we want, and then it will generate this. So that's what we are going to attempt next. This is going to be a little bit fun and also shows you the versatility of these functions. So because we are working against the headers or the columns, we can get the headers of the staff table using staff #headers. That's going to give all the headers. As the headers are across the screen on the data there, they'll go across the screen here. But maybe for the sake of simplicity, we can transpose this and we will get the headers here. So we are going to name this as column headers, and then we'll say show hide. If you want, you can set up something fancy here. I'm just gonna go with 1 and 0, but it doesn't really need to be like that. It can be so 1, and some columns will be 0. 0 means I'm not interested in seeing those columns, but if you want, you can also use the checkboxes and put them there. Let's not over engineer this. So that's that. So whatever columns I decide to show, those are the only columns that I want here. That's really what we are going for, right? So how do we go about that? So here I'm filtering staff, and while I'm filtering staff, I want to tell, I'm not interested in this entire staff table. I just want to get these columns, whatever columns I have flagged as 0 or 1, I want those, right? So there's a few ways to do this. We could imagine there is a column, a header is there. We could also attach a number there. And for the sake of simplicity, because our table is not going to change every day, we can just drag these out, but you can also sequence it. So we have got 11 numbers there. So what we will do is we'll say filter staff, but before we, instead of directly doing the staff, we then say choose columns of staff. So from staff, select the columns. The columns that I want to select are wherever this is 1, those are the columns. So in this case, I want column numbers 1, 2, then 4, 5. I don't want 6. I want 7. I want 9, 10, 11. So this is what really we are looking for. So for this kind of a thing, choose columns of staff, and then we need to specify the column numbers. That itself can be another filter. The filter here would be filter this guy, where that is equal to 1. Technically, you don't need to say equal to 1 because it is 0. 0 is kind of like non-filtered and 1 is filtered, but let's not confuse ourselves there. So let's write it like that and hit enter. And that's going to basically give us this kind of a dynamic table of part-time employees. And tomorrow our request changes and suddenly they don't want gender anymore. I can say 0 and that column is gone. But how do we know what columns are there? So we could then again use the same logic. We can say filter these where that is equal to 1 and send this to transpose, and that's basically going to give us the headers and the columns. The only problem with the dynamic arrays is they will only fill the data. They won't fill the formatting. So if I, for example, want to see the salary, if I put 1 there, I'll see the salary, but I won't get it in currency format. Likewise, if I see the date, I'll get the date as the number representation. But from here, you can then kind of start to add some more dynamic conditional formatting or some other fun stuff like that to go there. But that's the thing where we are kind of nesting filters one inside another, and hopefully that gave you some ideas. I've built this exact solution for a work situation when I was working with some clients here. Not to say they were annoying or anything, but I saw that there is a pattern of these things. It looks like they're all different requests, but there is a common attribute of I want columns ABC, or I want column DEF, or I want column ADF. So I saw that, and then I thought, let's not write these things individually. It'll be easier if I just make a template and key in the things, and it'll make the nice table. Then I just email that to them. So it'll be much simpler. So that's the second one. I hope you found that interesting. Let's go to the third one. And this is, so this kind of builds on the same idea. What we are trying to do is India staff who started in the year 2021. Now again, there is no direct answer here for that. If you see, work location tells me the city and country. So I have got Hyderabad, India. I've got Chennai, India. I think those are the two India locations, if I'm not wrong. Maybe there's something else as well. But so it could be either of those cities. It can, but as long as India is there, that's an Indian employee location. Likewise, the start date is a full date. And I'm really interested in people who started in year 2021. So it doesn't matter what date it is. As long as the year component is 2021, we want to grab those people. So in this case, again, we don't have to add columns or anything. We can use filter to do this. So we can say filter staff, and we have two conditions. People have to be from India, and they should have started in the year 2021. So our first condition, let's go with year of staff start date is equal to 2021. So you don't have to write the condition on the column itself. You can pass the column to another function like year, and then check that against the criteria that you're trying to build. Times or end, and then the people have to be from India. That means if I look at the location, work location, the last 5 letters have to be India, because it will be either Hyderabad, India, or Chennai, India, both of which have India as the last 5 letters. So we could say write off staff work location, 5, is this equal to India? And that's gonna basically give all the Indian employees who have started in the year 2021. Of course, this here, you can, once I format in the date, we can see that they're all in 2021. So here, the key idea that I want you to take is, many times we just think, oh, filter is just for writing a condition on a column. It's not really column, it's an array. As long as you can construct that an array, it can come from another function, or it can go through some other lambda or some other fun things like that. It will work, but it has to have that same size as the original data. Like if the original data has 100 rows, then you basically want to pass 100 values of true or false. As long as you're passing that, it will work. So this kind of a nesting functions inside filter opens doors for some very powerful things without having to add columns or overdo the things. obviously in a work setup, if you're building this, and you're not just building it for yourself, you're building it so maybe tomorrow someone else will look at it, then you may have to document it and explain what it is doing rather than building very complex formulas just for the sake of it. But once you know it, you will then maybe able to educate others, or make some best practices out of it. In any case, that's the third one. All right, let's see what else is there. So this is also one of the fun things. Many times we don't really want to filter and list multiple rows because it creates an additional issue of spilling and all of that. Let's say I want to know who are all the remote employees that work in the support department, but I don't want to see their names printed out. I just want to have all of them comma separated in one place. If I just want to see all of them printed out, I could say filter my okay, what's that? Filter my staff department is equal to support times staff work location is remote. This will give us these people. These are the support team people: Beverly, Valra, Barbara, Tristan. They're all working remote and there. But I don't want to see it like this. I just want to have their names comma separated in one cell. So rather than that, what we really want is for the sake of simplicity, let's just say we are interested in the first name. So these are the names. And again, I don't want to have them spill. So we can take the filter output and we can pass it to another function that can combine them. So in this case, that would be, for example, text join. Text join these names by comma, and ignore empty. We can just say true for that. You can even omit that. It doesn't really matter in this case. And close bracket, and we will get all of that. But that is a spilled formula sent to text join, and then it's just come to one cell. This is a great way to kind of print multiple items. They're all linked through filter. So here, even though we are hard coding, the things can be linked to cells and whatnot. And that opens some very interesting possibilities for you to see the things on the screen without having to, add columns or figure out some more complicated solutions, because filter is generating just a list which can then be read by a text join, and it'll. Now here is a fun challenge for you if you're feeling interested later when you go home or maybe at work. How would you do this? But instead of just first name, I want to see first name, last name, comma, second first name, last name. So in this case, what we are really looking for is Beverly Moffat, comma, Velra Timmis, Barbara, whatever, Tristan Cumming. So how would you do that? Think about it, and maybe talk about it in your next meetup. The third one is name contains. The last one is name contains arranged by salary. So let's do that. So here, let's just fix this typo. We're going to build a search box, name contains. So we don't really know what their name actually is. All we know is, for example, I'm going to put something that actually exists. So we know that their name contains the letters PRE in that order. And we want to know all the people whose name has that letters PRE, and they should be in the descending order of salary. So here, this is how you can do the filter for that. I'm gonna first get the headers also, so we know what the data looks like. Filter staff, and for now we'll limit the search to first name, but the logic would work same way whether you look in first name or first name and last name or whatever, but I'll just keep it to first name. So filter the staff data where staff first name. Now it has to contain this. So we could then kind of send this to a function like find. Find is one function that you can use, but not many people know it, but find is case sensitive. So it means it will look for lower case PRE because that's how I typed it. Whereas many times we may not know the exact case of how it is typed. So we are going to use search in this case. Search this little thing in the first name column. Now what search does is it will search, and if it finds, it will return the location of PRE. So for example, the name is Purna, it begins with PRE, then the search will return output as 1 because Purna's name begins with PRE and the search thing is also PRE, so it starts at 1. Whereas if the name is, for example, Rupom, it doesn't have Purna pre in it, so it's going to come back as an error value. I think it comes up as hash value or hash NA or one of those things. So this search can be a number or it can be an error. Now what we really want is a filter will freak out if it sees an error. So in this case you can see that if I hover here, and unfortunately if I zoom in you won't be able to see, but you can see that it's saying hash value for all the results and all the first few rows. I think the value is there somewhere.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So filter will not like if it sees errors. It will also come back as an error. So we are going to send this to is error function that basically checks is this search returning an error, and if this is an error, that means the person's name doesn't have pre. So we're not interested in such people. So we want the negation of that. So we're going to do not like that. I hope this all works because it will basically is a roundabout way of saying is the search not an error? If so, give me this. So that's one way. You can also, instead of is error, you can ask is it a number, because search will return a number. So you can ask the other way around, is it a number? Then you don't have to do the not of that, but it all basically is one way or another of saying that. So now this is a dynamic thing. There is only one person, so no need to worry about salary search, but I'm gonna do, okay, let's just find somebody. Okay, if I go for BE, there are a lot of people who have the letters BE in their name. You can see Beryl, Beverly, they both begin with BE, but Mabel has BE somewhere in the middle, and all of that. And then what we want is these salaries should be in descending order. So once the filter has done its job, then we can send that entire output to sort and then say sort it on 6th column -1, and we will get that, and we will have the highest salary up. And that is the search box. So I can basically search for anything, and whatever I search for, it will give me the people arranged by their salary, so I can find employees. Right now it only looks at the first name column, but you can modify this, and instead of just C3, staff first name, you can kind of ampersand staff last name here. So now you're taking both first name, last name, and then you're searching it across. In this case, now BE is found anywhere. It can be, so for example, here Mick, first name doesn't have BE, but Strawberry has BE, Bernie, Label, Callback. So the BE can be anywhere, Yvette, Beverly, like that, and it would work. So this is how you can kind of start to think about filter and either do operations inside filter or send the filter output to something else like sort to sort it and all of that. Now when you take all of these ideas and combine them with some of the other ideas that exist in the Excel, like for example group by and pivot functions, or anything else like take, sort by, or any other newer things that are also coming up like VStack and HitStack and all of that, then you really open some more fun and interesting opportunities for data analysis and all of that. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope you found it all helpful. I will open for some questions. If there's nothing, then I'll pass the control back to Rupom for the rest of the ceremony.
We
Please
don't
ask.
have any question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for interruption. But I have some, I have some, what it called observation over. Though I'm not available whole session, but I find it very impactful. Some concept has been cleared from my end, and I saw him. I saw you and Victor both are joined. So this is very impactful session, I guess. So that is the thing what I am to share. Purna, I have been following you since few years. So that is the thing. I'm getting you in front of myself. And thanks to Rupam Bhai, who is doing very good, great job, taking the best resources and making us impactful. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks for joining.
I guess you had gone through each of the part of this entire session very, very precisely, and I would say those details were required. You touched all of that, so there is no other question from the participant side. I think when the other participants will see this video, and they will definitely ask their questions in the YouTube channel comment, and I will pass it over to you if I'm not able to answer this.
Thank you. Yeah.
But what is really amazing about Excel is it offers really more than what we expect out of the session. You not only covered filter, you covered sort, you covered choose columns, or and you covered lot many other functions, right? So another thing about filter or any other array functions that have been added really new to Excel. I used to use Power Query whenever I get a data, but now when Excel integrated these array functions, it has made our life so easy and so fun while using this array. Yeah, this is quite amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Power Query has its place, and definitely it is another monster that we could use in Excel. But because array functions are instant, whereas with Power Query, you have to go through refresh, and there is a place and time when the data can still be stale. I find that for many real-time solutions, array functions are like a core component of my workflow now. Yeah.
Another thing, Purna, I just want to ask, because this is not related to the session, but I'm eagerly waiting for you. Do you have any plan for Python, which is integrated right now in Excel? So do you have any plan for this?
I do. I mean, I personally don't use Python in Excel because I find it kind of like a half-baked solution rather than something full-fledged. I use Python, so don't get it wrong. You can actually see in my screen share that right here I have got VS Code open. I'm actually using C++ there, but I use Python a lot. It's just when I use Python, I use it in VS Code, and I just use Python environment in my computer because it gives me more control, more flexibility. What I find with Excel's version of Python is it's kind of neither here nor there, and I personally I find it not that usable within that current shape. But yeah, if you want to learn Python, just learn it outside of Excel, then come back to Excel and use it. because then you will actually learn how to do coding with Python. Within the version of Excel, it is actually not like full Python. It is a very weird version of Python. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. When it has been integrated with Excel, I thought that it would be a great or a vast solution. Apart from Excel, we will have
Yeah,
another
yeah.
option to choose.
It is definitely another option, but you need to actually learn Python properly before you can jump into Excel's version of Python. So yeah, think of it like learning any language, like you want to learn Hindi or Bangladesh,
Basic.
like Bengal or French or anything. You don't want to learn a subset of it. You would rather learn the full thing before you learn, like this is not even subset. It's kind of like a very weird thing Microsoft has done with this. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I have a weird question. When I started with Chandoo back in 2006, learning from there, I was quite interested to know who is that person in the picture having long hair moving upward. I can guess now it probably you.
It is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you're saying, you're saying 2006, so that makes me feel like really old. Definitely with time, one loses hair. I'm really glad most of the hair is still there. It's
Yeah, I
just,
can see.
yeah, it is obviously me, but also I never really had hair like that. It was a photoshopped version of that.
Okay.
Back in if you have an iPad, even today you can do that. They have a app called Photo Booth or something. So back in the 2000s, I used to have a Mac, and it had the Photo Booth app on the Mac itself, and they have a
Okay.
small front-facing camera. So one day I woke up, I took in the Photo Booth app, and it had all of these weird filters, and I took a photo with that filter without realizing what it is. I just took it, and and I was actually I had my website by then, but I thought, oh, let's just try out some new logos, and yeah, I cropped that and I edited, I made it black and white, and then put it as a logo, and that was it.
No, yeah, it's solved my long pending interest. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically my
Really
latest
great to
switch.
have you, Purna.
Thank you.
I won't take much of your time. And it's really wonderful to have you in our Bangladesh Excel Meetup group platform. And we look forward to have you in the future for sure with some more interesting topics. And I really believe you will come over to our platform again and yeah, teach us some amazing tricks on Excel. And obviously, we are thinking of teaching Power BI through our platform. So I know you are really doing amazing with Power BI also. So I believe that you will respond to our invitation in the future also.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me in the first place, and it's been a pleasure. And it was really fun talking to people who enjoy Excel as much as I do. So yeah, it was fun, and I hope the meetup members all found it helpful and equally fun.
Yeah. Take care then,
Thank
and
you.
we wish you good health and a very prosperous future, and best
Thank you.
wishes for your family also.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Take
Quick to
care,
finally
Purna.
response. I was like, not even sure if he's there or not. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.